Welcome to JCE Connect, Module 5, International Human Resource Management, Subject Code 17 MBHR 403, 18 MBHR 403. In this module, we'll be learning about performance management and multinational enterprises, constraints in goal attainment, performance management cycle into international context, performance management of international assignees, third country and host country employees, issues and challenges in international performance management, country-specific performance management practices. Performance management. In global terms or in international human resource management, performance management has an important position wherein it can be described as a process which allows an international company or multinational enterprise to evaluate and constantly improve individual and corporate performance in relation to preset goals and targets. Here, managing employee performance is entirely based on organizational needs, strategic requirement, and customer preferences, which is crucial aspect for international human resource management. So performance of an expatriate entirely depends on variety of issues such as compensation, cultural adjustment, task and job roles, as well as support from headquarters and the host environment. So measurement of employee performance in MNEs is comparatively more complicated than that in domestic companies. MNEs encounter critical challenges in process of performance appraisal and management of expatriates. Now let us move on to challenges of international performance management. First is total company versus part of it. Now the core issue is how to measure the performance of the employees working in headquarters and the subsidiary. When headquarters and subsidiaries follow different strategies and implement varied actions, the aspects of dichotomy in decision making and implementation also results the dichotomy in measuring performance of the employees. Another difficulty of performance appraisal is the time span of the impact of decisions being made. Employee makes decisions in particular year, but the impact of it happens in the other years. Should the performance affect in the year of decision or in the year of result of the decision to be appraised? Then we have the second one, that is standard format versus customized format. Normally, parameters like profits, return on investment, cash flows, productivity, sales, per employee, punctuality, rate of customer complaints, etc. are applied to employees in the group for measuring the performance. Some MNCs additionally apply qualitative parameters like innovation, leadership, etc. So should the headquarters and the subsidiaries adapt the same and standard criteria, performance factors, or different criteria? Different criteria are appropriate for their individual environments, but vitiate uniformity of performance rating. For a parent country national working in a subsidiary, should we apply headquarters or host country criteria is another question that has no clear idea. Then we have the other part of standard format versus customized format. MNCs cannot follow a standard format of performance rating as influences of environmental factors vary from country to country, hence from subsidiary to subsidiary. Then you have uniformity of data and performance. So here MNCs and their subsidiaries not only work in different environment but also carry out different kinds of business including manufacturing, trading, etc. Therefore, providing uniform data for appraisal is not feasible. Problem can be partially resolved by converting the data into parent company monetary terms. But this is not solution owing to variations in living cost, purchasing power in various countries. Differences in accounting standards among countries pose another challenge in measuring employee performance on a uniform scale. So here, accounting standards differ due to cultural factors that decide the degree of conversation with which accounts are prepared. Germans are very consecutive while Americans optimistic. Accounting system is also oriented towards information requirement of capital providers, that is individual investors or bankers. Political ties also determine systems that MNCs follow for accounting. Then you have environmental variations. So, environmental influences among subsidiaries as well as different growth rates of the environment, employee performance across the subsidiaries cannot be measured using uniform appraisal criteria and scale. Environmental factors become more vibrant after recent phase of globalization, which initiated trends towards erosion of natural culture and formation of global culture. Establishment of WTO, World Trade Organization, European Unions and its currency, increased mobility of human resource, IT revolution, large-scale outsourcing, global strategy, etc. Then we have validity of performance criteria. MNCs use different performance criteria based on end contributions to the company and some based on employee traits. Former include profits, return on investment, cash flows, productivity, etc. And latter include dynamism, decisiveness, initiative, judgment, etc. Each of these criteria may not be valid for local settings of a subsidiary. So, cultural and social environment, economic system and institutional setup influences the business as well as performance of the managers, which varies from parent country to the host country. Therefore, performance criteria valid in parent company may not be valid in the host company. Then, time and distance variation. So here, measurement of performance of the employees working in MNCs is challenging compared to those working in domestic companies, as employees working in domestic companies can meet the colleagues face to face, while employees of the MNCs have limited choice to do so. The information technology devices like video conferencing, email, fax and telephone do have reduced the complexities. So performance of business activities in MNC is complicated by distance and different time zones between parent and subsidiary. This is one of the challenge which is being posed. Then you have varied levels of maturity. So MNC should not therefore adopt the same performance appraisal format and scale to measure the performance of the employees of home country nationals and different host country nationals as well as third country nationals. People of different countries are generally strong in different skills, have different level of maturity and are strong in different disciplines. Indians are strong in mathematics and logic, while Americans in systematic analysis. Then you have rater's competence or rater's bias, if you could say. So when you speak about rater's competence, it is nothing but the person who appraises should have the right skills, the right experience of working in that particular area where the employee is being appraised. It is doubtful if such raters possess required competence to appraise the performance of expatriates. So, raters bias, problems with subjective measures have opportunity for bias. So, halo effect, the error of central tendency, all these are different raters bias which happens in the international performance appraisal. Then you have host environment, that is internal environment of the host company. So organization, ownership pattern influence expatriates performance. 100% ownership by parent company against a joint venture allows parent country national to work more successfully in the host company. External environments like social, cultural issues, political issues, economic issues affect the employee performance. In addition, availability of school, education facilities, medical facilities, hospital facilities, recreation facilities, etc. have their bearing on foreign employee performance. Then you have something called as cultural adjustment. Adjustment of the employee to the organization culture and country's culture. Adjustment of employees' family members to the country culture significantly influences the employee performance. This fact should be considered in evaluating the performance. So, to sum up the challenges of international performance management, so here analysis of challenges of performance appraisal of expatriates reveal that it is critical to measure expatriate performance. Even it would be difficult to measure performance of host country parent country nationals working in headquarters, as they also encounter cultural issues while dealing with foreigners. Moving on to constraints in goal attainment. First constraint is unsatisfactory performance improvement, wherein the performance doesn't improve and the efforts and behavior of the employees is not towards achieving the goals of the organization, which leads to again no improvement in the performance or unsatisfactory performance improvement. Then you have incorrect decisions being made. So if you could see here, incorrect decisions are decisions of pay rise, transfer, promotion, training, discharges, etc. in non-motivated employees. Then you have legal compliance not being met. So here, due to erratic performance, it lands firm in legal battle, diverting its focus on non-productive area. Then inadequate job satisfaction. Employees tend to become emotional and frustrated if they perceive that ratings they are getting is unfair. Increased turnover of employees. Dissatisfaction in job leads to turnover of the employees. That is, people leaving the organization. Inconsistency between organizational strategy and behavior. Performance evaluation will be apt if there is consistency between organization strategy and behavior. If the employee behavior is lacking, then strategic focus also will not be there, and consequences would be the loss to the organization. Inconsistency between organizational strategy and performance appraisal. So performance appraisal not able to identify employees with the potential, not rewarding to match the performance, not properly deciding employees' need for development, unsatisfactory performance improvements. These are the different constraints in goal attainment. Moving down to factors affecting expatriate performance. First factor is cultural adjustment. Second factor is host environment. Third factor is headquarters support. Then compensation package and task. Let us see one by one. Cultural adjustment, which is the first factor which affects the expatriate performance. If the employee or the expatriate is having difficulty in adjusting to the new environment, then it impacts the performance of the expatriate. It creates a dilemma in the mind of the expatriate, and as well as it becomes very difficult for the expatriate to judge the behavior of the others. Then next you have headquarters support. So here assignment, domestic versus international, individual versus family transfers, natural cultural comfort zones, career and finance versus loyalty, emotion versus unfamiliar situations. These are all the dilemmas which will be faced by the expatriate, wherein the headquarters has to support and give a clear idea of all these factors. Then afterwards we have host environment. The environment in the host country, social environment, legal environment, economical environment, technical environment, demands, types of goals and operations, and development and emerging markets of the host country also affects the performance of the expatriate. Then you have task. So here Hayes 4 task is been explained. The first task is CEO directs the entire foreign operation. Second task is structure reproducer, that is marketing will entirely reproduce the entire structure. Troubleshooter, that is individual foreign subsidiary solve operational problem. Operative, performing functional jobs or the existing operational structures. So here these are the four tasks which are being directed to an expatriate, which also brings in difference in the performance of an expatriate. Then you have compensation package, obviously the most important factor which affects the performance of the expatriate. That is the rewards performance equation in the parent country and the host country. Financial benefits, which are being received by the expatriate, career progression, level of motivation. All these are the different factors which affect the expatriates. Structure of managerial role in cross-cultural setting. Third country national role conception. Now, role conception of third country national would be more critical. So, parent company's expectation, role perception of the third country national, subsidiary company expectation, organizational culture of parent company and subsidiary company, culture of organization where TCN worked previously, country culture of the third country national, and host country culture influences the role content of the third country national, which is presented in this particular diagram. So here, if you could see, parent company and the host country stakeholders are the role senders. They will send across the role, which is again divided by cultural boundaries, to the third country national manager, who is the role recipient, and accordingly he will be putting forth the role behavior, which again influences the parent company and the host company. PCN role conception. So here, multinationals and the host country stakeholders will be the role senders. So recipient of the role would be PCN managers, who convert it into the role behavior and send it, and it again affects back the multinationals and the host country. So here communicates role conception. The multinationals will be communicating the role conception to the PCN managers, as well as indirectly the host country stakeholders will be sending the roles to the PCN managers. Ultimately, which is converted into the role behavior. Again, it is divided by the cultural boundaries. Then you have HCN role conception, wherein the parent company will be sending the role, will be the role sender, communicates role conception to the HCN manager, that is role recipient, and the host country stakeholders will indirectly put forth the role, will send the role to the role recipient, that is HCN manager. Then HCN manager converts it into behavior, and which directly affects the parent company as well as indirectly affects the host country. So again, it is divided by the cultural boundaries. So parent company and the HCN manager, there is a cultural boundary between the parent company and the HCN manager. One of the most challenging tasks of IHRM is managing the performance of the firm's various international facilities. Performance management may be understood as a process that enables an international firm to evaluate and continuously improve individuals, subsidiary unit, and corporate performance against clearly defined preset goals and targets. An expatriate's performance need to be assessed to effect his or her promotion, assess training and development needs, and introduce pay rise. So here, if you could see, my dear students, in this particular cycle, so multinational global strategies and goals will be framed, then subsidiary goals will be framed, and then individual employee will be having their individual goals. PC and parent country nationals will be having different goals, third country nationals will be having different goals, and host country nationals will be having different goals and standards which are to be met. Then job analysis and performance appraisal. Based on the goals of the multinational global strategies, subsidiary goals, the individual employees will be trained, and then the performance will be appraised, and based on that, training will be given. Performance management of international assignees. A contextual model of expatriate performance management being given by Tavanian has taken a grounded theory approach and qualitative analysis. Model illustrates how performance valuation is both an outcome of the company's strategies and goals and an important source of information on which other personnel related activities such as training and development and performance related pay are based. So here, explaining the contextual model of expatriate performance management, which is being told in the previous slide. So here, my dear students, understand company strategies and goals are very much influenced by international context, domestic context, and organizational context. As well, maturity level of the company operation in the host country, national culture in the host and home country, nature of the job, structure of the organization, and internationalization stages of the business operation do impact the strategies and goals of the company. The company's strategies and goals are being clearly mentioned to the expatriate, and also the performance expectations are clarified to the expatriate. Based on that, performance evaluation will be done. After performance evaluation, they go in for training and development, performance related pay, and it is the data of performance evaluation is also being used for other organizational purposes. Moving down to the performance appraisal of international employees, third country, host country employees. So here, performance appraisal, as we all know, it is a method of evaluating behavior of the employees in the work spot, normally including both qualitative and quantitative aspect of job performance. So appraisal of expatriate, third and host country employees has certain performance criteria. So what are these criteria? One is the hard goal, that is nothing but objective, quantifiable, and can be directly measured. Hard goals are objective, quantifiable, and can be directly measured, such as return on investment and the market share. Then we have soft goals, which tend to be relationship or trait based, such as leadership style, interpersonal skills. Then we have contextual goals, that is, attempt to take into considerable factors that result from situation in which performance occurs. For example, multinationals commonly use arbitrary transfer pricing and other financial tools for transactions between subsidiaries to minimize foreign exchange risk exposure and tax expenditure. So these are the example of contextual goals. Conducting a performance appraisal for TCN and HCN employees, the subsidiary managers tend to assess accordingly to subsidiary performance. Appraisal for other employees is likely to be conducted by subsidiary chief. Multiple raters are sometimes used in domestic context. Virtual assignment situations are being used. Issues and challenges in international performance management. So one is whole versus part, non-comparable data, volatility of the global environment, separation by time and distance, variable levels of maturity. Let us see one by one. So first issue when it comes to performance appraisal is good of whole versus subsidiary short-term performances. So subsidiaries will be having short-term performances. How it is going to affect the good of whole organization? Is it a purely competitive strategy? Is it a joint venture to establish new market? All these are various issues which comes in the appraisal of the performance of the expatriate. You have non-comparable data, that is data from subsidiary may neither be comparable nor interpretable. Strikes, local labor laws, accounting standards, all these are non-comparable data which do prove in as an issue or challenge to the performance appraisal. Then you have volatility of global environment, that is long-term goals need to be flexible due to volatility. The long-term goals will be very much flexible and keep on changing. Collapse of Soviet Union, Gulf War, European Union, Chinese reforms, and now at present if you could see the COVID-19, all these are volatility of global environment which affects the performance of the expatriate. Then you have separation by time and distance, that is physical distance, time zone differences, frequency of contact between headquarters and local units, cost of reporting system. So despite of e-connectivity, not effective face-to-face connection, problems may be more underdeveloped. So this brings in lot of constraints or issues and challenges in appraising the performance of the expatriate. Then controlling and performance management. So performance management becomes a part of multinationals control system. Performance targets, for example, are part of formal control. Performance management contributes to shaping corporate culture. When we speak about country-specific performance management practices, let us take USA, United States of America. So here it is very much individualistic nature which is being followed in US culture. So here if you could see, employees ought to be evaluated on their individual performance and contributions rather than the team performance. So as a capitalistic country, workers in USA largely expect that their rewards will be a direct result of individual contributions. As a result, there are competitive aspects to many performance management systems in which only the top performing employees receive the greatest rewards. So capitalism has also created fierce competition for organizations and the people in them to be industry leaders. So they want every employee to be a leader, or if you could see, a global leader. So individualism is more approached in US rather than the team approach. And if you could see, in United States of America, uses of performance appraisal. Currently, most US organizations use their performance management systems. Basically, it is being used for decision making, that is, decisions regarding pay, bonus, promotion, assignment, reduction in courses. Then fewer use performance management to guide employee development, including training, mentoring, and other experiences to help employees develop their capabilities. So focus is more on decision making, wherein rewards and awards are being put forth. Then choice of whether to use a system for decision making or development is critically important. One that has implication for the system's design and implementation. So here choice is left to the organization, but most of the organizations in US use the performance management system basically for the decision making. Tools of measuring performance management in US. Basically, they go in for Six Sigma, that is, employees are evaluated on the basis of their highest certification in Six Sigma, black, green, yellow, etc., or the extent of application of Six Sigma certifications in daily work processes. And then individual benchmarking. These are the two tools which are being used for performance management in US. In India, the performance of every government servant is assessed annually through his or her confidential report. So government servants and his/her suitability for further advancement in the career on occasions like confirmation, promotion, crossing of efficiency bars, selection for deputation, selection for foreign assignment entirely depends on the confidential report assessment. The system of confidential report as it exists in the Indian civil service is based on old bureaucratic pattern of colonial days. Then in India, we have various tools used to measure performance management, that is KRA oriented measure, that is key result area oriented measure. So key result areas are framed mutually among the manager as well as the employee, and based on that, employee's performance is being appraised so that there is no bias. Then they are often framed at the year starting, revised throughout the year and based on the changing conditions, and measured accordingly at the end of the year. It gives a clear picture to an employee of where does he lag and needs to improve. Then also the second tool which is being used is 360 degrees appraisal, wherein multiple raters are involved in evaluating the performance. So employee performance is evaluated by his supervisor, subordinate, peer and customer. So it is most widely accepted and applied tool where it provides feedback on employee from all angles of his work performance. Then you have total quality management, wherein organization-wide efforts is to be installed or instilled, which instills a climate in which organization continuously improves its ability to deliver high quality products and services to the customers. Then also in India, we follow benchmarking, where it is comparing one's business process and performance metrics to the industry best and best practices from other companies. It also allows organization to develop plans on how to make improvements and adapt specific best practices to be the best in the industry. So thank you for your patience hearing the end of module 5. Any queries, any doubts regarding the entire module, you can call me on my number 960 6699 299.